Okay, so I'm in my room. It's like 4:30 in the morning. I cannot sleep. I've been up for an hour. I'm just really uncomfortable. I was like, man, maybe I'm just not used to sleeping on my bed so much. But anyways, I'm in my room because my son-in-law's asleep on the couch, and both the dogs are out there and stuff. Stella's got a crush on this fella. He's so cute too. But he's in Stella's bed. She's on the floor and he's in her bed. And but it's like if he gets up and goes, she hurries and scurries over and lays down. But she won't be aggressive towards him at all. He's been kind of towards her, but she just, I don't know, she has a big old crush on him or something. It's so cute. And she goes over and she gets so excited, like her tail's just going crazy. And then he'll come over and start sniffing her and licking her and stuff. And she'll turn to me like, oh my God. She'll get all excited. And she'll start going, oh, it's so cute. I haven't seen her get so excited in a while. But anyways, we started the porch thing. And all of it, we had to just keep going and going. Everything that we would come to was rotted. So we totally have the whole porch off my front yard, off the front of my house, except for the roof, because it had a roof. So we have the roof propped up, but we have the whole porch out. But while it's been out there, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that it happened this way now, because now that it's all open like that, because it was more closed-in porch, and it was, I don't know, spiders, and Stella couldn't see why she would lay out there, you know. She loves to lay on the porch, but she had limited view, but she loves to lay out there. But so this is going to be more like a deck porch, and so it's going to be really open. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I can't even believe it. And I feel like it's going to look so different. And then plus we're doing, in order to like go with the roof and stuff, because the poles that were holding it are attached up inside, so we had to like incorporate them into our newsstand. And then they had done all of this, they had put the wood right down like in the dirt, and it was rotted 2 to 3 feet up. It was so fucking rotted, the whole fucking porch. I can't even believe how much rotten wood I have out there right now. I gotta get rid of. But the smell, it just keeps coming in my head. The smell. And I just know that's like what the bathroom is like. Once I fix that, it's gonna be, and then once I do the other part with the plumbing and stuff in the kitchen, I feel like it's not gonna have such a mildewy smell. It's like all this rotten wood, man. But so, let me think, because I was saying something about the horse thing. Oh yeah. Okay, so the post things come down, so we had to figure out how to, we had to put like a concrete kind of foundation under there to hold the structure. Then we had to put, so there was a bunch of bricks. We found all sorts of bricks and rocks and stuff under there. And under my other little house, he keeps going and looking under it. It's got all sorts of stuff under there. Like they just throw stuff, I don't know, or they just built right on top of it. It's so strange. But now it's so clean under there. And there's so 1,000 spiders under the huge ones too. And now it's so clean, and oh my God. And it's going to be more open, kind of. It's not going to be as closed in as it was. And there was a vent under there, and that vent was closed in. So I bet you that also was adding to something in the house. Like I bet you that it's going to help it to have more air movement or something. I don't know, or just have more. One of my vent holes the other day, I saw like some mole dug up and then went through my, it's living under the house somewhere. But I'm sure they can just dig up under the house. Probably there's moles in there. There's probably what, sometimes where I've heard noises in the house, is probably moles. But what was I going to say about the, oh yeah, okay, so the poles coming down, so we had to figure out, what to do with the bottom, and then to make it where, it was more protected on the wood, and then also use the top. So we have this really cool thing, and so we built these brick pillars that remind me so much of, like, I love brick houses and stuff. I grew up in the South, And in Dallas, in Texas, there was brick houses everywhere. And so I always love brick and the brick influence and stuff. And I have some other brick stuff outside and inside. And so it has these pillars. And then we have the 4x4s that we had gotten for the new post. But now we're going to use it for like, it's kind of like a 3-section post. Kind of like, what are those things called? Where it's those different, like they were from the indigenous communities. They had oh man, I thought they were so cool when I was a kid. Because it would have all those different faces, like it would be a long pole. And it would have these different sections, like different energy or something. So, and then it kind of, with the brick and the shape of it and stuff, it kind of reminds me of like the 70s theme or something, which I don't know, kind of reminds me of my house anyways. But anyways, so I'm so excited about this fucking porch. I can't even believe it. Maybe that's why I can't sleep. But and I love getting out there and working hard. I swear to God, if I would have been born a guy, I think I would have been a craftsman, like somebody who was construction person, like that likes to build things, only put your own crafts, or, like, I don't know, I like to create space, but wouldn't be like a contractor like that. Like those guys are, and developers, yuck. They're just like cut off from it. It's more of being like the artistry of creating space or something. Like I really appreciate old houses and the craftsmanship, just in all the furniture and stuff. Like that's the kind of furniture I like to get, is real wood furniture. And I don't know, I just appreciate craftsmanship. Speaking of, I just saw this footage of those the India, they like, I don't know, see about like the pyramids and the hieroglyphics and the temples and all that stuff, but and then I don't know, like in Israel and just this really old stuff. Or I mean, to me, I always knew, like when even the conversation ever started about pyramids and maybe they were built by aliens, I was like, what the hell is wrong with you people? Of course they were. I've always been so weirded out about people's concept of aliens and stuff. It's just, but I just feel probably it's because they're these beings, which people think of like aliens, ghosts, monsters, angels. It's all just they're other dimensional beings. There are other dimensions and other realms. So they're just the beings that vibrate in those other realms. So it's all like the same. It's like a mashup or something. It's like a souls. So anyways, I've just always thought it was strange how people were so limiting perspective of human. Oh, and what was it I just had seen? Oh, wait, yeah, the India one. So in India, the fucking details and oh my God, oh my God. I guess it's just the architecture, but I think it's like like this really old stuff. So I think it's like the buildings, furniture, everything is so ornate and so finely carved with these. It's fucking cool as shit. And so, yeah, and they want to tell them that these are like old people chiseling away and they're all like perfectly lined up and stuff. So what gets me is that there was people who believed it. That's what is always like gets me. It's like, how did you ever believe it? And so, but now, everybody's exposing it. Like, oh, can you believe it? Like they said this, but look at it. It's like, so, what was that? There was a few different things that were going on my head. There was one of the girls she's always talking about quantum, the money thing and the change. So she's like one of those accounts that's constantly talking about that. And so she went to the Trump rally, I guess, think it was yesterday, in North Carolina or South Carolina. And she was so disappointed. She was so bummed out. She was like, I don't understand what in the hell, why are they pretending and keeping this narrative going? Why is he acting like he's running in 2024? She said, all the people, why do all the people not seem to have any awareness? Like, they're really all in for this election, get all pumped up and stuff. She's like, it was so weird. And I was so bummed out. I was so disappointed. I was like, oh my God. I just left there going like, oh my God, this is going to drag on for fucking ever. But I still say something big's happening. I mean, all the signs are building up. There's like the motorcade. I guess it would. I mean, he's out and about all over the place. There's people seeing him all over the place. There was a woman who saw him at the airport, and he had like the whole fucking military with him. There's a person who I think he's out like doing other tours, speaking and stuff. Besides, because he's gone to like the Republican this country or this state that. This is, he's just out there. It's kind of like his energy is circulating. So if you think of it as like the energy, he's pulling him as he's in it. And so it's like I can see it, but it's hard to explain. But it's like the energy is coming back, but it's like sucking in, like when you first put this stuff like in the food processor, and you pour it in, and it starts to blend in. So it's kind of like energetically, he's really being incorporated into the blend right now. And so he's kind of everywhere. And I think it's, I can see why that lady was so disappointed. I totally get it. Like, I've listened, I can't even stand to listen to those rallies. Because I feel like, oh my God, it's the same motherfucking thing. It's like, if you've been listening to this shit for years, it's like, motherfuck, come on. And it's frustrating, because you want the other people to wake up so we can move forward. But, it isn't like we can just get those people to wake up and move forward. There's all these events that have to happen. Or it's just, the whole thing is if you can wrap your head around, it's something that has already happened. This is all stuff that has already happened. We're like in the replay. We're like in the slow-mo, so our soul can really watch and experience it. So everything has already happened. So as we are going through this, all these events that occur have to occur in order for the whole thing to go. And those things twist around in your mind, because I can see how like they showed that in like time travel movies and stuff about like with the time and all of that stuff, about being like there's all this stuff with jumping timelines and jumping timelines. It's a mental thing. There's nothing to jump to. It is putting yourself into a place where you were as deep as you can, depending on the abilities that you have of your own control of your own essence, your own being. And that's what we're working on right here. And yeah, it's fucking hard and it's challenging, and people don't understand the type of challenges that recreate the what you need. It's like a recreation, but all of the things are leading up to it. So it's the time. It's like a movie. So if you took the movie. And that's why I think they always say it like it's a movie. Like, I can totally understand the whole thing. Like, we're in a game, and you're literally getting points and leveling up and grabbing tools and mastering the game. Like, I can totally see that. But also, I completely can understand the concept of it's a movie, because it is all a replay. This is like it's written. And so it is like it's totally like the story is written in the mind, in the air, in the essence of out there. It is like the creation is out there. But then, man, it's weird because like there's fucking things like they show you. I'm telling you, they'll show you stuff, and you'll have no fucking idea how to explain it, but you'll totally understand it. It's so trippy. It's because they'll talk to your soul, and that's why I think they make these holes. Like, you can't just get your information from somebody else. You have to learn how to connect with yourself. It's an exercise, and you have to learn how to connect and begin to trust yourself and to go with your own. It's a development of your discernment, but it is learning how to listen. There's so many things that you learn in it, connecting to yourself. Like, there's so much, man. And so you can't just, like, it's meant to be where I can't explain everything. Like, you can't go around and get, you can, like, I've always been able to go around, like, I've got a really full puzzle as far as I'm concerned, but it's your own, and that doesn't mean like it couldn't develop further, like my puzzle will get bigger. But to me, like, I feel like I understand even when they show me these weird pictures or things, because like I don't know how to explain it, because it's like a wave of color, kind of like, I don't know, is that like a commercial or something, like a Laffy Taffy or something, and this wave of this candy stuff going out. So this wave of color, the way it would move and stuff, the energy, but then how it would flip back over on itself. So it's kind of like the imagination is the storyline is created, and it flips back over on itself. It kind of like a whale jumping out of the water. So it flips back over on itself to experience, but it is like, it's what it like solidifies it or something. It's like the movement creates the story, but there's no changing the story. It's like the destiny is set. The story is written. And so we're in the process of the story. And I'll tell you another thing I just heard that was really interesting that goes right with it is in what religion was she? She sounded British, but she looked Oriental, and she was talking about feng shui, but she said something about a religion, I thought. But she said this is the year of the 8. We're about to go into the 9. And in the 9, it's going to be from 2024 to 2043 or something like that. And in the 8, it was all of the things, she said, like the things we were learning about. And it is all, see, it goes by generational learning. It goes by, like, the lessons that the soul is learning are connected all the way back as far as your ancestry can go. So all the lessons are connected. Like the stuff I'm going through is like whatever my mom was learning, the lessons get completed in me or the next person, whatever, like it's the connection. It's not expected that your mom's lessons, like you think, oh, well, she needs to learn. She's got her lessons. She needs to grow. She needs to, the lessons are all the connection of the whole thing. Like when you go to the other side, you getting to that part is the completion. It is like the follow through. It is like you learn it, and then everyone learns it. It goes backwards. It's like, but you are also the push out of the lesson. So you're the push out of the lesson, but you flip back over on itself to go, and you got to think about this as like energy, like how energy moves in the universe, and how it is, and we're energy, but we're like conscious energy. But the movement of energy is that is the law of like the law of gravity. The law, no, I mean the law. Gravity isn't the law, but like the law of matter, the law of all these laws of what they use for like the secret or something. Like the law of I hear all these people saying all these things and I don't know about them. I was like, you guys probably know better than me. It's like the law of I don't know why awareness keeps coming into my head. The law of the law is like the certain things of balance. I don't know how to explain them, but if you understand the law of attraction, the law of these things, those are the laws. Is the natural movement. You can't change the natural occurrence, the natural movement. So then you say it's the law of attraction because it's the law of how that is going to work. It's the energetic way it works. It's just the acknowledgement of it. So there's an acknowledgement of the way it works. But that doesn't mean understanding that you can control it. It is learning how to go into harmony with it, not trying to harness it like the government, not trying to manipulate it like the witches, and not like people who don't understand it. It's beginning to understand you're a part of this energy, and your part you play as a conscious energy. You are consciously aware of the need to as an evolved being, the need for balance. So you participate in the harmony action rather than working against the grain in it. So that is when you become a more evolved, consciously aware person. You work in the harmony with it. Like you're not fighting it. So you're not fighting the laws. It's like melting into them or something. It is like joining them. It's like marrying them. So it is becoming, it's like a development, like when you become aware that you are eternal, you're a soul. It's so crazy how people, even with the concept of a soul, how much they limit that. I think so much of the limitation is all in regards to religion and just being taught that you don't, people are just so cut off from themselves. Like there's no fucking way that somebody could sit down, I don't give a shit, waterboard me and tell me I have a soul. I may say whatever you want to hear, but you're never going to convince me of shit. Like you may as well just take me out if that's the whole game, is to try and get me to realize that my soul is in my head and it's my ego and that I'm nothing. I don't know how they got all these people to believe this shit. So other than just beating them down generation after generation, and then if you get the idea of the reincarnation recycle, like this has been going on to get them into this low point, like, or do they? I don't know. Like I really don't know. It's just always something that's boggled my mind, because the soul and the other dimensional beings and stuff has always been such a part of my life and so real. And it's been so strange to me how people have been in so denial of something that's been so real to me. And then to tell me I'm crazy, but I know I'm not crazy. Even to grow up and work around crazy people. But I always knew I wasn't crazy. I just always knew. And people, kids aren't diagnosed with schizophrenia at 3 years old, So, okay, so one of the other things too with the Trump thing is so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. One of the other things is Trump, his motorcade. Oh my gosh. Yesterday even, and people are doing these motorcades and doing these songs and stuff. Oh, Jesus Christ. And I saw this one yesterday. It was like tears were pouring down my face. It was just like so moving. It is like this group out there fighting for us, and he's, going through the town is like that energy to just show like, we're fighting this, come on, guys, get people motivated. And I think it's kind of for the collapse, so people know, okay, there's still somebody out there, there's still somebody in charge or something. Because I don't know, the whole thing is just kind of strange, just, they do keep trying to be like, okay, we're going towards the election and all that stuff. So to get people, yeah, I don't know, to me it's kind of like to get people to be talking about what the government's failing at. And so maybe that's why, but it's all in timing. But really, what do they give us every few years where they're keeping us focused on what they're doing just so they can fucking lie to us? So, but also the thing about the number 9, there was something else about that. Oh yeah, his motorcade, there was 2, might have been 3 ambulances. There was definitely 2 ambulances. And it was such a fucking long motorcade, I couldn't even believe it. There was so many cars and vans and SUVs and then ambulances and stuff. So, I mean, he's packing while he's traveling. There's no ex-prez that fucking has that kind of presence. Like, and it's got to be showstopper. Like, it's got to be really huge and extreme so that the people who aren't awake, they see that stuff. Because people get videos and stuff but driving down the street, and people see that stuff and they'll be like, dang, that is a lot. Because that's that questioning, that's the opening your mind, is just to look at something and be like, well, just to notice. It's just to begin to notice things. And it may be a slow process, but once you start noticing stuff, you just keep noticing stuff. And, but the year of the 9 is, the year of like abundance and everything going back. So see, it's in alignment. It's in all of the stories. It's in all of the prophecy. It's in the cycles. Like, we're headed into this, like, where people want to be so scared. Well, I don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. You don't know. We're all going to die. We're going to die. It's like, you can't die. Stop fucking thinking you can die for one motherfucking thing. And start understanding about cycles. And get off of your fear and start understanding about the earth and about the cosmic cycles, about astrology, about like there's so much more. And go out of Western religion, go into deeper, older shit. Look into older stuff. Look into, like channelers, metaphysical, like supernatural, all that stuff. That is the direction, not religion. It's like the control. That's like the starched fucking collar of your spirit. It's the chokehold. It's like, fuck that fucking religion bullshit. It's meant to just distract you and control your spiritual aspect of living. They have to control everything, man. Fuck, they control fucking, yeah, you have to control, let's go into the bathroom. Oh, let's catch that and recirculate it and give it back to them. I just saw a fucking sick-ass fucking story, man. Another traffic girl coming out, and hers is fucking horrible. She, I'm trying to think of, okay, it was Uncle Sam, and then the second part of the name of the place. So it's 4 words. So those 2 words, and then the next 2 words, the last 3 and 4 is snuff is the 3rd one, and the 4th one, festival? No. Factory. Yeah, so put those 4 words together. And it's in Texas, but it's a place like most of us would know about. She said it was like 45 minutes from Austin. And, I mean, that's part of the big money. Like, I'd be curious to know how many of those, if they've got flights, yeah, they could just send a private plane, pick up their purchases and have them flown out to Ohio or whatever. But, how many people go there? Because it sounds like, Hostel, like that movie, exactly the same place, which I fucking have said, like, that's a documentary that I think that's pretty well maintained knowledge now. Everybody pretty much knows, like, about, well, I'm not saying everybody, like, tons of people don't know, but I'm talking about people who, us in these groups that are talking about this stuff, like, now, is, like, most of the people in, you know, the conspiracy community, that I guess we're called, knows about, like, red rooms and shit like that. So, but it is far beyond that when it's a whole center, when it's a whole, you know, factory, when you got a whole bit, like, that's, like, hostile. So, and, you know, those are all over the place. I know there's some in Vegas. I'm sure there's some underground in every fucking city. I'm sure there's tons of people that go missing in bars all the time. I'm sure there's people that, you know, we hear about some of them, but I bet you we don't hear about near the quantity that really go out, go drinking, get separated from their friends, and they're never seen again. And I'm sure, and I bet you even like in Spokane, being a college town, I bet you that there is, you know, one of those communities there, because they use those places as like fishing ponds, because kids are away from their protection, they're away from their parents. A lot of them go from other states, from other countries. It's really hard to find people when you're not even local. Like, if you have to leave, like if you live in Florida and your kid's going to school in Washington State and goes missing, if you live in Japan, your kid goes missing there, they're not putting on the news, because, you know, the news is with the universities. They're going to report what is meant to be reported. And somehow it just is always the same looking girls that go missing. That really, you know, is a distraction, because that's not. They're taking all sorts of kids that are all colors. And that is what this one girl was talking about. She said it's the worst thing that you can't even imagine. And she said the only reason she's still alive is because she is from one of the families. This is what I've heard from a lot of these people who speak out. They are born to the families, but they don't know. They don't know they're in these really devil families. You know, they just, from small kids, they start being traded as pleasure toys for other people. They start, you know, some night, like, they're kidnapped and taken to a place where they're terrorized and tortured. And they are always having to watch other people do horrible things. So it hangs over their head. So it's like traumatizes them. She said she was diagnosed as, I don't know, that dissociated disorder or whatever. She's got, like, they've now had to go with a more extreme version of that. Like, where it used to be split personality, then it went to, I don't know, they have to keep renaming it and making it more extreme. These people are fractaling. But, and people got to pull themselves together. They got to pull themselves together, and they got to realize that there's attachments. You are going with the attachment. You are fractaling out. And if you have got no awareness, if you are completely losing time and you don't know what the other part of you is doing, all those things can be fixed. It's like, but, you know, it's the being has to overcome. They have to pull themselves back together. They have to find themselves. They have to, the parts of them that broke apart, but like in extreme circumstances, that, you know, I can see how that would happen. I mean, the trauma stuff that she was saying, like, she said it's so fucking gross that, she said, I've seen rich ass women come into these places, like these billionaire women, and they get an order off a menu, and they'll order these little, always dark kids, always, and they have them cooked live, and then they will sit there and eat them. And she said it is so disgusting too. She said that they will make kids, and I've heard this from so many different ones, kids have to do in the other ones, you know, like, you know, it's you or them, you know, and this is fucking adults enjoying this. This is entertainment. Like, and then it takes you back to like the Roman Empire, like this energy that is, well, is those people, those are that energy from that Roman Empire, you know, where watching men be torn up by lions or going and being beaten by giants or whatever. They, it's like that same people, like if they keep going from time jumping into these, or they're in control with the resets or something, like I don't know if like Rockefeller have been around working with the reptilians since the beginning, or you know, they take them up on the ship, they reset the planet, bring them back down, like I don't fucking know. I mean, there's weird shit going on here, there's no doubt about that. And especially when they're, none of it's real, but it still exists. So I'm like, it's so weird. So I find it far more fascinating to be a hologram than I do to be flesh and blood, personally. But okay, so what was I going to say? So the Rockefeller people and their dark ass energy controlling us, and there's always this part of me. This is like where there's all this stuff going on in there in my mind and stuff. And when I start getting, there's always this part of me. I feel like it's like this little person in there, and they start jumping up and down like they're panicking. They're gonna forget or something. They're not gonna see. And so there's like this anxious little part of me in there. There's always like, oh, you know, like trying to keep on top of things. It's always like, wait, you're going to forget what you're talking about. Wait, you're going to... I must be like the ego part or something. It's always in there, like, and it can be so distracting. Because if I take my focus off of something else and listen to that for a second, then I can lose everything. But it's like so wavy energy, this anxious kind of energy. It's funny. But in this cycle with the 9, so we're going into this cycle of where we're going to, everything is going to be spiritual. People are going to be different. It's going to be a different way. People are going to be, you know, go through all these traumas and become more deeper, viable, more compassionate and caring and stuff. You know, people are going through loss, so much loss, which gives them so much more, you know, acknowledging how important things are, and to really, you know, to be present and to appreciate what you have when you have it, and realizing it's temporary. That moment in time that you have it is the only time. Then it's gone. That time is past. And if you don't, then you end up in this constant state of regret of what you lost, because you were always paying attention to something else, that you weren't present. So you lost all that time with people and stuff. And that is part of like the distraction with like the devices, and then also with the distraction with the devices, but we'll see, let's do it again. The distraction with the devices, and the there's too many things. It's so annoying. It's like hit a traffic jam of stuff, like where it just all kind of crashes into each other. I think that's what's trying to warn me of. Why? Don't go over there. You got too much stuff over there. So the 9 is a completion, and it's changing into this cycle. We're going into this time of abundance and spiritual time, and it's going to be really better. But we're in this, you know, the transition. Things don't just abruptly change. Like you can see how this just drags out. And I just saw another video of a guy, and he was just like, he said, I sold my car yesterday, and I went and bought a ton of beans and rice, And then he's like, I don't understand. How do they keep dragging this out? He said, I thought this was going to go down years ago. And they keep dragging it out. And so he's like, man, I don't know how, like, selling my, like, and I get where he's coming from, because, you hear that stuff and you're not paying the house, and it's like, fuck, did I do it too soon? Am I going to have really to go in court and battle with these motherfuckers? Like, I'll go with the homesteading kind of laws. Like, I've made improvements here. No, sorry, dude. I've tended this. You tried to bill me. No, fuck off. I'll fight in court. So even if it goes down like that, and what was that? Because my son-in-law was just telling me a story too about somebody being able to get the land, because you can get the land. There's homesteading laws. You can go out. His was, it was so similar to the story that I had of the two rich guys who had that big whole ton of land in it. So nobody was out tending all the land. And then the Spokane fire chief, he did this all the time. He would go out and start tending the land in these places that other people owned, but they weren't taken care of. So he would go do it, and then he would go to court, and he would get the land. It's his, because we don't own the earth. You can have what you tend, and they're trying to sell us something that we can't own. And so, the bankers, if they want to get involved and try and say that they're going to take my house because I didn't pay their debt, even with the taxes and stuff, all of that stuff was just to keep trying to keep us in their money enslavement system. It's not real. It's not a real thing. You don't own the earth. They can't sell it to you. But anyway, so I'm going to just use that on that, trying to just, keep them at bay or whatever until the whole thing goes down. But from what I understand, the judicial is been collapsing and being exposed, because now it's going to be on our side. And just like how the media is starting to seem like, well, now they're asking real questions. Now they're really getting obsessed. And now it seems like they're more, because it's all turning the other direction. But there's still going to be something that's going to be, that real, lights coming on moment for so many people, but one thing, while my son-in-law's been here, and, we haven't talked tons about, their whole thing, just little here and there little things, I've tried to say things, to make sure, because I don't know what he knows, but to be like, don't take it personally. It has nothing to do. I mean, seriously, when people say it has nothing to do with you, it really doesn't. And it really is the other person, what they're going through. And, like if somebody, there's different kinds of breakups. There's a breakup of you both just hate each other and drag it out and eventually just fall apart, or, go with somebody else or something. There's ones where one person doesn't see it coming, and I've experienced that. I've been on both sides of that. I've done it and I've experienced it on the other side, because that's when you get the full thing. You get just, you do it to somebody, you see how it makes them feel, and you have it done to you, then you see the other side of it. And then that's where it can keep going in life after life of all different things, because there's so many different ways these things can play out. So, but just the recognizing when the things are playing out, that's all it is things playing out. And so, when somebody doesn't see it coming, and, and you start going through, like, what did I do wrong? What did I not see? And all of those things. And you start replaying so many things in your head. And, like, why did I do, getting to that point of, like, why did I go do this or that? When it wasn't what I wanted, it was what that person wanted. And then look where I'm at now. Now it's a huge, huge lesson. Like, that is not a lesson to bypass, or to minimize. It is a huge one. It is, especially right now, and I think a lot of people in those relationships that are falling apart, it's for these kinds of lessons. This is what you're trying to see and learn, are the lessons. And the people who are falling away, they're there to like teach you the lessons. So, and everything's about timing. Everything is so crosses in over itself. It is that constant, this flipping back on itself. It's this spiral movement. Is energy is always in motion, and you want to direct your motion. You want to get into the like positive pocket kind of thing, and it's so easy to get into the negative. You just start looking at people as being stupid, and everything sucks, and life's so hard, and all that stuff. Or you start looking at it for like purpose and what you can learn from it, and when things end, it's so other things can begin. And you don't want to stay doing the same thing your whole life. You want to be growing and changing and learning more about yourself. And there is periods of time, like when you're with this person or this person, you're there to learn these certain things. This part of you is there to develop during this time with that person. And then when that goes, I feel like we need to all get more in the flux of it. But you gotta go through the process of pain of loss. It's a huge thing, and that's a big part of your lessons. You can't override or overstep lessons or tuck them down or hide from them or just distract yourself or something, because then they just go into it's like you just start filling boxes with stuff, with garbage, and then the stuff tries to come out, and you stuff it back in, and that's where it starts becoming like demons, like now I don't want to deal with you, I don't want to think about that, and it starts becoming a whole thing in itself. And so that's where you start just getting more toxic and having bad relationships, because you're reactive. You're still playing out your old relationships even when it's with new people, and because you haven't healed that stuff, you haven't grown, you haven't let go of things. So you've just been kind of and that's something I did. And so it's important in between to do your healing, to really go and recognize who's the new person that came out of there, because each relationship is like a cocoon in life. It's a big opportunity of growth, of expansion, of change. And every time, no matter what happens, you come out a new person. And so but in the process too, is they're recognizing like, oh man, I can't believe I did this for them or whatever. And if you are in one of those kind of positions, is just detox. Don't get all caught up in the fear and the stuff that people are saying and everything, because we are all have the same stuff inside of us, no matter if people want to go around and pretend like they're smarter or better or chosen, and all the stuff that people are out there saying and doing. Is that no, these people we're dealing with are fucking mad scientist geniuses. They were putting this shit in us before we knew, before it was being disclosed. This is just us starting to realize. And so yeah, it's in everything. It's not just, this isn't the first one of these that they've put this stuff in. There's just don't fret. If you had family members putting pressure on you, and then they still blew you off, then those are your lessons. Those are for you to see, like, why did I put myself aside? Did I really want to do that? Did I do it for me? Did I do it for them? Like, you just walk yourself through things. You just question yourself. It's like questioning yourself in life is really all it is, about growing, about changing, about reflection. It's just asking questions. Ask yourself questions. Ask yourself, like, why do you do this? Why do you do that? How did that make them feel? Well, what did you think, what did you think would happen? And, it's just this, it's like a conversation with yourself. Going into those, like, deeper conversations with yourself is what evolves yourself. It's how you grow. And this evolution and stuff that is happening right now it is all of these generations going together. Like, it's so weird because sometimes I can be like doing something, I'll feel like, God, I'm my mom. I'm like, I've turned into my mom. Like, I can move my hand, I can swallow, I can hear myself swallow, and I'll be like, that is my mom swallowing, that is not me. And I'll be doing something, and I'll be like, that is my mom. So how do I even know what my mom feels like? Like, how do I know what it feels like to be in my mom? How do I, like, it's so strange where it's like, it's because we're connected. We are, it's not like the shadow is, the thing that I thought represented it so good in the movies, in the physical thing, is, and I think I have it in my playlist, not playlist, what is that, description thing, and then I have a bunch of links, like red pill shows or movies or whatever. Those these have been from old, so I don't even know, some of them could be taken down, but in one of them, I don't remember if I just talked about this movie and said the name of the movie, or if I shared a link to the trailer or something. I don't think I could share a link to the movie, but it was a really cool movie, on some of the things of how it showed, because it was the one I talked about where the girl, she was supposed to be the alien, and she landed in this place, but it was more like she was us or something, and landed somewhere else. Ooh. Sucks. That happens. It's like that was like a burn and pull. That was weird. But the people who were there, so if it was the before humans or whatever, I don't know, but they couldn't hide their thoughts. So everything that they would be thinking and feeling was outside of them. So if you were talking to somebody, they couldn't hide themselves. You could see it. And that is what I've been saying all along anyways, through this awakening, was that was like what was happening. It was like I could see through people. It was like I could see. It wouldn't matter like what they would say. It was like I could see what was really being said. And I started noticing that like a couple of years ago, when I really started noticing it, like with the neighbor, because if you don't know all my older videos and stuff, because I'm the only person who's been awake out here for a long time, and there's been a lot of weird stuff, and so there was weird things that would happen with my neighbor, and I was just like, what is going on? And that's when I started realizing, like, it's awareness. Like, the people who aren't awake are not aware. They're literally not paying attention to anything other than what they need to pay attention to. Everything else is like, they don't pull their consciousness out and pay attention outside of what they're focused on. And that is also how they backed it up to me about helping me to understand what reality is. Reality is what you're focused on. It is where you are. Where is your focus? Where you put your mind is where you're at. That is your reality. And so, that was a part of the whole thing. But there was conversations where I started being able to hear what she wasn't saying. And then one day she said it after a few weeks. It came out of her mouth. That she thought I was a liar. And this was all based on because I have a flag, and so they thought I was a white supremacist. And when they moved in, as soon as they found out, that I was a positive Trump person or pro-Trump, that they thought I was loony. It's been a whole thing. You'd have to go back and watch all the videos if you don't know about all that. Like, that was the whole thing. But anyways, but so through the development, though, is where I started seeing. And so then once I could see, then I would really pay attention and start seeing how, the people who aren't awake, the reason they don't see things is because they're focused on work, focused on their friends, focused on where they're going and stuff like that. That's why I always say it kind of like a snotty thing, like, oh yeah, just focus on happy hour, because it's just, it's kind of, I don't know, sometimes I feel like the things that they say, it's kind of like it's not snotty because they don't look at it like that. It's like, it's seeing somebody be irrational and screaming their head off and then just slapping them and being like, come on. So it's kind of like they're not trying to be snotty, but they're trying to, like, get people to, so a lot of times they'll say stuff, but I totally see it, I'm like, fuck yeah. And like, that's why I say, like, I feel like I've merged with my higher self because I see the point of it. I don't see the point of trying to just be nice and, say things to not hurt people's feelings. You got to be honest and real, and people are shallow. That is facts. People are being bullies. They're not being their true, authentic self because your soul isn't like that, and you're caught up in the game, and so it is. I'm trying to hear if I hear crying out there. Maybe Stella's sitting out there crying. Oh, it is daytime now. But I was like, I wanted to come on and say a few things just because of, like, yeah, there's a lot of people feeling really, like, beat down and stuff right now. But keep in mind, this is cycles. There's no, this isn't something that's a maybe. It's already happened. We're in the part that's leading up. That's like we are watching the things that lead to where we're going. We're experiencing them as we go into it. So we're experiencing what's already going to come. So you can just rest assured it's going to come. The age of Aquarius is going to come. However you're going to get there. Maybe it's going to be your soul doesn't even want to go there. Maybe your soul wants to go somewhere else. I would think, most souls around here is, playing a part. It's because they want to be a part of it. And it's, it's going to be so, it's going to be so open. It's going to be like kind of like earth realms, everything's just going to open up. And so, yeah, there's going to be a lot of, I think even if people are leaving, transitioning out, it's just, like I said, it's not like they're really going anywhere. Like, my son-in-law's stepdad died during this time, and he's younger than me. And but he had psoriasis, so he was taking all his medicine. See, that's autoimmune. So his body was already fighting itself. Then they started doing all this stuff to attack his immune system. So there's a lot of people who were, autoimmune, I think, would be a dangerous thing to be right now because we're so under attack and with the immune system, and your body's already attacking itself. So anyways, he died during it, but he's not gone anywhere. He hasn't gone, he hasn't changed, he hasn't, he's there all the time, hanging out with his family, hanging out with him. He's always there, making jokes or making lessons or making sure you get things that you want. It's incredible when you really understand how the people from the other side are working in your life, when you can connect to them like that, because they're there. So, but that confirms to me that they're kind of just like waiting for all this to play out so that, you can again see them. Because that whole thing, just keep in mind, the age of Aquarius is heaven on earth, and the living and the dead will walk together, because there is no death. But it's once we realize that we are always alive, that there is no death, then we will all be together. And so they're just sitting there waiting for us to. But we're still in the parts that are still playing out. We still got to go through the process because we have a role to play. We have a lesson to learn. We have a lesson, where we're playing a role for somebody else. But we're still involved in the story. And then there's still going to be people, who will die, essentially, but jump back in their body. It will appear to be miracles, but there's going to be more and more of those. More and more, because we're at this time of awakening, of awareness, of understanding what the control you have over yourself, over your own energy. And so there's going to be, a lot of fantastic things, but there's going to be a lot of really horrible, traumatic things going on at the same times too. And so, that's each person. Everybody has to learn to manage themselves, manage their emotions, manage what they intake, manage what they process, manage what they reflect, manage. It's all a state of management. And the masters are the ones that manage. That's what we're working on. So if you're not good at, you're just all, mushy and going to the gym and you're just mushy and everybody else is fit and, you see definition and everybody else and you just feel like a big old marshmallow. You get to the other thing. You have to start with the mushiness and then build it. And so it is the same with your mind is the mastery. This was something that they made clear to me too. Like when I was a kid, that your mind is the same as like a muscle, anything you're working out. And that is what I think is a part of the problem why they keep giving these people diagnoses, is so that they just surrender. Yeah, well, I've got attention problems. Well, I've got the autism. Well, and it's like, yeah, but we all have that shit. We all have, we're all in these bodies trying to manage this energy here. We all have these, anxiety, or it's all in how you look at it. It's all where you focus. Do you just let it be out of control? Yeah, I'm just, I'm having my out of control attention deficit time here. I'm just not going to do anything. I'm just going to let it do its own thing. Well, then that's your lesson. That's what you're here to experience or learn. But if you're trying to learn how to master yourself, those are the things you need to master and acknowledge and be aware of. And so take notice of when your mind is getting out of control and reel it back in, lasso it out there and pull it back in, yank its ass in and, set it down. Like the little one in there jumping around like, Mom, you're going to forget. Yeah, you just, set it down. Okay. You got to calm down here. Like, and each person's mind has got its own, like I said, mine feels like Starship Enterprise up in there. Like there's beings up there working and talking and all sorts of shit going on. And so, you got to figure out what is going on in yours, maybe it's an apartment complex. Maybe it's a business encounter. Maybe, it's a judicial judge and jury up there, I don't know. Everybody's, a lot of people seem apparently to just think there's devils and angels, everything. But it's, and you can perceive however you want to perceive it. You can perceive it as a fucking fish tank if you want to. And it's all different fish in your head, giving you information or emotion or whatever. But it's your universe. But you got to, manage it. You got to take control of it. You're the God over you. You are the one who is meant to manage your space, your universe, the being that is you, your energy that is out there going through the world. And so if you just go around, well, I just can't help it. I've got impulses. Well, I've just got to do this. I've got to do that. It came in my mind. So anything that comes in your mind, you have got no control. You just got to go through the action. You got to learn how to manage it. You got to learn how to manage the mind, manage your instincts, your control, like connect with yourself, use your discernment. Like it's a whole thing. It's a development of self. And it is a pulling free because we weren't developing ourselves before. I mean, their whole concept of developing yourself was go to school, get a diploma, get a job, make a lot of money, buy a house, get in debt, have some kids. That's, so it is, you're not really developed. I mean, most people, like, you have people who are old and still haven't developed themselves, still in toxic relationships, still struggling in life and don't know how to, make things better with people. And so, it's a development of self. And the more you spend in reflection, the more you spend, giving yourself time to understand yourself, then the better you're going to feel about yourself. So it's just the way it goes. It's one of those laws. Give yourself the time and you will feel better. So anyways, I will probably, I guess I would get up and start making some tea or something. This is so uncomfortable sitting here. I'm like leaning. I even have my bed thing going up, but it was like, oh my gosh, my my joints, my hips and stuff, they just get so sore. I don't know what. And now I'm just got myself convinced it's the motherfucking formaldehyde that was in the Sweet and Low. It's, all my joints, and they just get stiff. I just want to get one of those med beds. I want in a med bed so fucking bad. And now there's a new technology. There's a med bed wand. You can buy a med bed wand. I don't know where, but you can start looking them up. But they are healing people. Like if you've got cancer or whatever, you've got autoimmune, a whole bunch of different diseases. And it's like this, it looks like a wand thing. It looks like something a kid would play with. And it has this bluish light thing that spins. And I don't know how long you have to sit with it and stuff like that. And I think it's like $335. So really reasonable. If, I mean, do that. Don't do chemo. Do energy healing. And do chemical detoxing. And don't add more chemicals in. So, yeah, I would definitely get one of those wands. But there will be, the med bed things, will be becoming more. I keep seeing. But, all of us people who know about this stuff, how it drags on and drags on, then people start feeling like beat down. But these are tests on your faith, that test on what you believe. Like, they can't turn me away from what I believe, because it's in my inside, it's in my knowing, it's like in my cells. I can't go against my own cells. And so I know for sure what it is, or definitely going through this healing, this transformation, so that we can have this other time on the planet where everything is going to be all about peace and love and abundance and adventure and acceptance. It's going to be just a completely, different energy than what we're used to. And it's going to be so fucking nice. But, each person has to do their work to get there. And that would be the only thing that I would say why you wouldn't be an age of Aquarius. That if you think of it as a reality, if you wouldn't be there, the only thing that would hold you back is your attachments to pain and drama in 3D. If you're just still attached to the bad guy, good guy concept. Well, they're bad. Everybody is good except that person. They fucked me over one time. They're a really bad person. To really understand that that's an energy. All these energies work together to make these stories for us so we can go and experience. So you got to get into that, stepping back, that observation mode, so that you don't get so caught up, so that you can manage what you got going on, so you're not so caught up in it. But that is the thing, is, from what they keep showing me and telling me, is letting go of all of these 3D things, because it's the 3D stories that's going to hold you back. You can't be in a dream and holding on to a nightmare. You can't. How are you going to sit there and be in a happy place with people if you're still holding resentment towards them? You got to get over this is the time to get over the resentment. And your resentment's not going to hold them back. It's going to hold you back. So your resentment will hold you back from this bliss time, this bliss reality that is becoming, available to souls. So anyways, so this time right now, if you don't use your distractions and get caught up in all the bullshit, use your time to heal. Use it to acknowledge yourself, to see yourself, to understand yourself, to see what you want in life, to direct yourself towards your dreams, towards your goals, but don't be all caught up in thinking like, it has to go the way you think. Because remember, you're on a ride and things are gonna go. It's like they put the dreams and the stuff into your mind, but that's where you got to also see the difference, and the ones that they show you and the ones that you get caught up in the illusion. Like, you see someone else get something that you think would be super cool, so you want to go after what they have. And that's like what we have, all these fame chasers now. Everybody wants to be famous, gangster, rapper, Kim Kardashian. I don't even know what the hell you call them. Famous slut. I don't fucking know. And that sounds really mean and judgmental, but I mean, that's the role. I don't know what else to call it. So if they want to be, it's like caught up in chasing that, but that isn't you. That's why you have to get in touch with you and see what your real dreams are. And then keep in mind, when you're going towards them, things are not going to just play out just like, well, it has to go this way, or it's not mine, it has to go that way. You've got to be able to go with the flow, but and keep firm in your knowing that you're still headed to where you're going. You know, it's all it's an internal journey. It's an internal journey of figuring it out for yourself, to keep yourself on track, to keep yourself feeling good on the journey. And to, you know, it's a whole management. You are the universe. You are the universe. So anyways, today we're going to do some more. Did I even finish talking about the pole thing on my... the porch thing is going to be so cool. I just can't wait. I did one little before video, but I'll do another one because he did get some pictures of what it looked like before. I didn't get it until it was all gone, and I was like, man, I got to... You know, I didn't know it was going to end up being when we have the whole thing off except for the roof. It's so trippy. I don't know. Kind of reminds me of like some old Western store or something with this dirt pull up in the door and get out on your horse and go, oh no. I've got an imagination. But anyways, so in this time, you know, just keep working on you. That's what's most important. And, you know, it is frustrating, but that is also your challenges to keep, you know, it's the working out the muscle. To remember, even when it drags on, like I fucking thought this was going to go down so many weekends, every motherfucking weekend for goddamn 2 years. So, you know, and now, there's always a fucking date up ahead. This just drives me fucking crazy. So we come up to a date where we start getting close on it, where, oh, it's supposed to go down, and then there another date jumps up ahead. So, July 28th, is something about Pluto, I don't know, masters Aries, moves into Aries or something, and the north node and the south node go into alignment, and this, I don't know, there's a whole thing, you can go in and there's all these astrologers, but it is when things are exposed, the truth is seen. She said, this is, the girl who I saw talking about, she said, this is huge. This is bigger than any of the ones that we've all been leading up to, of what it means, how they're lining up. So she was saying all July is going to just be full of just stuff. Because July, it should be, like, when the financial thing has got to go. Like, man, the dollar... even my son-in-law, when he was in Colombia, he said that you can't even use the dollar. You know, the dollar there's no value with the dollar in other places. So, you know, I don't know. They can't keep dragging this out. People are going to start seeing. And then plus, whatever they're trying to do with the controlling the travel, that's going to... All of this stuff is going to go. So, you know, hopefully it's going to be this month. I mean, they've drug it out so fucking far already, but just keep in mind, whatever the last minute is, it will be kind of like what they're trying to do is like the same thing as 9/11. What their big thing to try and stop what's coming, so they make a big disaster so they can try and stop what's coming. So once the big disaster goes and catches everybody's attention, that's when we'll know, like, okay, everything's turning now. Like, things are gonna start going the other direction in a big dramatic way. People are gonna be like, what? And it's gonna just, like, the energy is gonna take off in a completely new direction. So that's, and we're so close. And I mean, the planets have lined up so many times. So I know it's coming. So whenever it comes, it will be here. So just don't give up hope, and just keep working on you. Don't get all caught up like, well, watching every little thing. Like, you got to watch it all play out. So just relax, and, you know, the more that you just go out and just, you know, interact with people or interact with family, the more opportunities you're going to get triggered. just sitting and watching. You can get triggered off watching movies. What needs to trigger you is going to come. And so, but it's the focusing on the triggers, focusing on what you need to heal. Those are the things. Don't distract, because I think so many people are using all this shit going on in the world as a distraction from their own stuff, their own pain. And that pain is what's going to bind you to the 3D, because that's the only place to work it out. And then plus, man, all the people, it's the people who hold on to it. They are the ones. You can't hold the other people in with your stuff. If they heal their stuff, even if your mom is holding resentment, not growing in something you did, if you grow past it, then you grow past it. But it's like all these different generations, because it's so connected, and the people divide between the lessons. Well, no, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. Well, you're horrible. You're horrible. So they get so stuck in there that they don't heal themselves. They just keep blaming one another. So that is where you don't want to get stuck. That's what you're saying. These people just get stuck in these patterns. So, if you find yourself, you guys keep blaming each other, you got to break that pattern. You got to go in and sit with yourself. See, what can I do that would be different? How could I do something different? How could I look at this different? How can I see things different? And another good way to approach things is to see the other person's pain. See, the other person isn't the enemy. The other person is another person in pain, struggling, trying to get you to see their side. And so somebody's got to let go. And the sooner you can let it go and start working on your stuff, and, it's all just about forgiveness and acceptance, and just keep those kinds of things in mind as your goals. I want to forgive. I want to accept. I want to accept they're not perfect. I want to forgive them for the wrongs they've done and move on in my life. And then you're going to be healing. You will heal through that process. And so, but it's a process, because things will come up. Well, what about that? What about when they did that? And then you may have to go through that whole thing and think and see yeah, but still, they've got problems. It's that same thing of looking at other people and seeing other people have problems. Other people are suffering. It's not just you. And not just being well, I have it so much worse, when so many people have it as bad or worse. Some people don't have it as bad, but it's our perception. It's our focus. It's like our hyper focus on poor me. I'm the victim. Poor everybody else. If you've done something wrong to me, poor me. It's getting out of that mindset. That is a 3D whole. It's like an anchor. Victimizing yourself is an anchor to the 3D. And so, but it is that soul needs to keep playing it out. So you're anchored yourself in, because you need to really. So don't be mad at yourself if you just keep being stuck there. Don't be thinking oh God, I'm gonna never get to go to Age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius is going to be going on a long ass time. It's not going to be even if you have to go through 2 more lives, 3 more lives to get to that point, to really get everything out of it. It's a development of the soul. It's not parts you can skip. There's not parts you can, bypass. It's a full development. You need the whole structure. So anyways, just keep working on you, and just keep really trying to find you, figuring out how you feel, how you think, what do you, all this stuff, and you'll find yourself in there. They're in there. They'll talk to you back too. They'll tell you who you are. They'll help you see, and they may show you who you are in different lives, so you can see oh man, to me, when I think of who I am, I'm all things. I'm everybody. I'm all cultures, all races. I'm connected to all things. So and everybody is, but you've got to find those connections inside of you, and you will see them. They'll show you. So anyways, have a good day, and spend time looking at you and figuring out who you are. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.